Bismillah wa salatu wasalam ala man la nabiy ba'da. Taymum, dry ablution, is done by a traveler not on a mission of disobedience to Allah, and the sick person for fard obligatory, as well as somebody who's doing nafil salat. You can do it all. If you cannot find water for an area of 80 kilometers, everywhere you go you cannot find water, or you're traveling you cannot find water, or you're in the public washrooms like in Canada, UK, and the water is far away from you, or you don't have a container to put your water in, and you can go to the washroom and urinate in the public stalls that they have where people urinate standing up. You can do it in the stall, but do it in a corner, so that in a corner of the area, if you say this is the area and this can here, I try to do my urine right here, and make sure that it doesn't fly and touch my clothing. So you do it in a way that it doesn't touch your clothing. For if it touches your clothing, then you have a little bit of problems. But if it's something small, some small area that the urine or the nijasa reaches, then you just wash that area. As long as the nijasa doesn't spread all over the pants or that garment, then you have to do completely throw it into the washer. So the healthy resident may also do tayammum. The healthy person can do it, and the sick person. If you fear that you're gonna miss the salat, right, and you're healthy and you're a resident of the city, you can also do tayammum for salat and for the nafila and for janaba. Like if you have janaba, you had sperm came out and you had a wet dream or anything, you can also use dry ablution or dry ablution. You do a dry ablution until you find water. Once you find water, that means that you start making wudu. And there's a difference of opinion if you have to repeat the salat or not. But if the salat is outside its time, then you don't have to repeat it. But if it's in the time, then you repeat it. And if you have a janazah, somebody died, you pray on them, and you can do tayammum. That is, if nobody else is found that they can pray on the dead, then you have to pray on that dead person. So now the questioner asks that, what if I'm in the public washrooms in Canada, US, and UK, or of the like, and I cannot find water? Or I'm working in a factory and there's no water in the factory, it's being built, or in a construction site where there is no water anywhere. Like we used to work in the places in Fort McMurray and these other facilities, Syncrude, or any other companies here like Shell or Esso or any of these other buildings like Ellis Don and stuff, and sometimes there's buildings that they don't have anything. In other words, that they didn't connect all the water pipes so the water can flow and you have water. So in that condition, and you're in a job place, you cannot go searching for water at the gas station. Your lunch is only 12 to 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes half an hour. If you're lucky enough, you have an hour for your lunch. And the Dhuhr Salat or the Asr came in winter in Canada, as you know, the Salats are one after the other. What do you do in that situation? What you do in that situation is you make sure that you make wudu before you leave your house. But if you have to use the washroom and you have no choice, you know what I mean? Then you take your napkins, and there's always napkins in these sites and stuff, in these porta potties, and you use that napkin to cleansify all your urine. And you pull out all the urine once, twice, 3 times, and you use the napkin at the front of it. Sometimes you might have to stand and sit more than once, because sometimes there's some stuff with males different from females, right? That things that cannot come out because your penis in your area of relaxation to get out the dirt is different from the woman. And in these washrooms, we cannot sit how we're supposed to sit. In other words, it's best that you squat. That way all the impurities come out. But you can't do that. So since you can't do that, you try to do it as best as you possible, but to get out all the impurities. And once you get out all the impurities, you wipe as best as you can with a napkin, for you cannot find water, as we said. And you can do the same for if you had to go into the washroom and you had to do not number 1 but number 2. What you do is you use the napkin, because this napkin is what they have. And this is also considered dry cleansifying with rocks, or cleansifying with the rocks. They call it istijmar, and we use 3 rocks or 3 napkins for the urine. And for feces, you might need more, so you know what you have to do, and you make sure that in the opening of the anus, there's no athar, there's no sign of dirt in the anus. And you can use a white cloth, white napkin, toilet paper, and find out if there's anything there. Once you find that there's no athar, there's no sign of dirt there, right, then you make wudu. And now we know that we cannot find water. So what do? We find earth, or of a lake, clay or something, but don't try to use the walls of the construction site, because they are not of sand. They're not of sand or rock material. So we go outside the construction site or in the site. Remember, some of the areas is not built, and we go on there. And what we do is, we imagine here's the sand. So we put our hand in the sand, we beat it, right? We beat it once. And once we beat it, we take one hand and we wash that hand. We wipe that hand with that dirt that we have. And we try to get between the fingers, right? And the right hand and the left hand. At least once of each hand. And then after that, we do the face. From one side to the other side. Get it everywhere. And then after that, we can beat the earth the second time and do the right hand and the left hand. And just do the hand at the end, and that's it. That is all you need for Taymum. So that is the obligatory parts of Taymum. In other words, all you need is the intention, pure earth, and wiping over the face, as I demonstrated, and the hands up to the wrists, as I demonstrated also. And striking the soil once, doing it one after the other, and within the prescribed time of Salat, and immediately before the actual Salat. So you do it just right before the Salat. And things that you can use for tayammum, dry ablution, is, like I said to you, sand, sun-dried bricks, not every brick, sun-dried bricks, stone, and snow, mud, and the like. So as we said, the wall, don't use it. I mean that if it's different from sun-dried bricks, if it's not sun-dried bricks, it's not bricks, then don't use it. But if it's bricks, you can use it. And these are the things that you cannot use for tayammum, dry ablution. It is not permissible to use whitewashed or painted walls. That's what I meant. Don't use walls that are painted or whitewashed or painted walls. Don't try to do a tayammum on mats, like in the mosque. Don't try to do it on the wood. Don't try to do it on grass or the like. Find earth, find dirt, find mud area or sandy area, and do tayammum there. And we sometimes have a sick person that can't get off the bed, they do tayammum, dry ablution, since they can't get off the bed. And what they do is they usually put a rock beside them, and whenever they need to make tayammum, then they don't make pray, they just do tayammum, because it is impossible for them to make wudu. Sometimes they cannot move their body parts and stuff, and they don't always have somebody beside them, so we tell them just to use that rock and make tayammum with it, dry ablution, and pray. And if they can't pray standing, they pray sitting. Obviously they're on their bedridden. And if they can't pray even on their back to the ground, then they pray. Then they pray with their finger. If now with the finger they can't pray with the finger, they pray with their eyes. An allowance is made for the sick person to do it on a stone or sun-dried bricks wall if there is no one to fetch him water, as we said before. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam.